Good day, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the Wincinnati postgame show. He's Ace. I'm Eric. Maan and Justin will be joining us as soon as they buffer in. It's a very stunning game today. Can best be summed up as the epitome of what it's like to be a Bengals fan for the last 38 years, something like that. So for those of you that have only been around since Joe Burrow came in, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, this is what it feels like to be a Bengals fan. Just when you think you got it, something happens and you don't. And today's game hurts. The Bengals lose a stunner in overtime, 41-38 to the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Burrow, quite possibly one of his best games as a pro, driving the Bengals down. Said he had to be perfect. Tosses an interception. We were possibly driving to take at least a 6-point lead. Probably would have gotten a touchdown there, maybe run out the clock. One mistake cost us. Even with that, we got an opportunity in overtime. Defense got us that stop. They got us that fumble, and they were wasn't much we could do after that. Zac Taylor came out of it, decided decided that 9 didn't exist and wanted to just get 2 or 3 inches and bad snap. Ryan Rico can't get it down. Even with that, Evans still, phenomenal kick for a sideways football, but didn't make it. After that, looks like the defense just kind of gave up and let Derrick Henry rumble for 51 yards. It's going to be a long season if this continues. Even winning this game, it would have been it's still a hole to dig out of, but this would have been big, and it wasn't. So it looks like we lost. Maan, we'll go to Ace. Ace, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. This one is tough because this is the game that the Bengals needed to play to beat the Ravens. They needed to force a shootout. They had to go out here and be perfect. You couldn't have told me in a game where the Bengals offense drops 38 points, Joe Burrow throws 5 touchdowns, almost nearly throws 400 yards, that even if you threw the interception in there, I'm still like, yeah, Bengals win that game. Bengals clear. I expected the defense to not be able to do much. I didn't expect it to be this bad, though. The amount of time that Lamar Jackson was able to score so fast at the end of the last couple of possessions to kind of tighten this one up was just kind of mind-boggling. It was nearly similar to when Uno had that play where we threw the screen to him and he was able to score that fast. They literally were able to march up and down the field. And to me, I'm not putting it obviously the defense is bad. My thing is, where is the coaching staff's awareness to know how bad your defense is? Zach, what are we doing where you're making decisions that are I'm going to put it back on the defense? For me, the first one that I couldn't understand, Bengals get it at their 50-yard line. It's 4th down. I'm like, all right, let's go for it. No, let's punt. The Ravens on their own 20-yard line, inside their own 20-yard line on 4th down, went for it. Those are some of the mind-boggling situations that I couldn't understand. Then before overtime,
they got a good spot on that too. Didn't y'all think that they got a real good spot on that? Yeah. I thought that was way closer than what, I don't know.
Super generous, bro. And then right before overtime, it's Ravens have no timeouts. You're Joe Burrow. He's been willing and dealing all game. I'm running the clock out and taking the chance that my defense is going to have to stop Lamar Jackson, which they haven't done the last quarter of the game. I don't. And then my thing is, I just went back and looked at this, and I'm so frustrated from seeing it right before we went on live. On the plays where you get the fumble, which is great by Jermaine Pratt, he did what he needed to do. You get the ball, 3 straight runs, right? 3 straight runs isn't even the worst part. When you go back and look at the plays, the only receiver in the game is Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is not in on any of the 3 plays that you need to utilize to try to win that game. You're on the 38-yard line. On the last play, which is a run, it's obvious that it's a run because your formation tells you that it's a run. You're using Jamar Chase as an inline blocker. Dog, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Hold on, what play was that?
This is the one right before they missed the field goal. So
okay.
Everybody's saying you got 9 take a shot to get closer, do something like pass the ball.
Right.
Don't run the ball 3 straight times. But like, not only do they run the ball 3 straight times, they're literally telling you what they're doing. There's no T. Higgins on the field. Jamar Chase is used as an inline blocker on the last play. There's just absolutely no sense of surprise. So like, this whole theme of what I call playing timid is what lost you the game. You never took this game and was like, I'm trying to actually win this game. You were trying to be conservative. You were trying to win it your way. But at the end of the day, that's how you lose football games instead of playing to win them. And so for me, like, I can't like, yes, Joe Burrow had a bad turnover. Cool. That's fine. I still don't think Joe Burrow lost us the game. Like, to me, Joe Burrow had 5 touchdowns. Like, do we want to take away one of his touchdowns? Like, I don't understand. Like, even if Joe Burrow threw the interception, I'm still putting it in his hands because that's why I put pen to paper on the $200 million contract because I got Joe Burrow. So for me, I'm looking more at the coaching staff because I expected the defense to not be good, honestly. Like, and I don't understand how you can't coach and win in a game that was set up for you to win in a shootout. I don't understand that. Like, we took their run game out. People are going to look at the box score and say, oh, Derrick Henry. We all know that Derrick Henry was averaging 3 yards per carry before that.
Ain't do nothing, bro. Ain't do nothing. I watched the whole entire pregame show. I watched everything all week just talking about it's just so crazy how it all just transpired because I watched everybody talk about like the Bengals had the worst defense in the NFL, and I think it's bad. But I was like, I think they're underestimating the scheme and stuff early in this game. And you talked about the Bengals getting out early. I'm so glad that they got the ball back at the third. Like all these different things that we're watching play out. If you would have told me the Bengals got them to punt 3 times and they had a fumble, I'd be like, yeah, Bengals won. And the Bengals stopped them 3 times. And that's all like before the game, like, now that you're seeing the flow of the game, you're like, yeah, like Bengals got to get a stop, and the defense wasn't good. But if you would have told me that before the game, I'd have took it because I just never anticipated. I thought that it would be like a 24-20 game, long sustaining drives. You would, you know what I'm saying? You get a couple stops here, and then that's all you could really ask. The Bengals got those stops here and there sparingly, and the Bengals offense was that good again. Like that good again. They were good, you know, for the most part in the Chiefs game. They were good in the Commanders game. They were good again today. They were good in the Panthers game. And it's just like to go 3 straight runs at the end of that game, it baffles me that when Joe throws the pick, I just thought that they had one more timeout. I'm like, bro, make them burn that timeout. Make them burn that one. And to me, that's not taking the ball out of Joe Burrow's hand. That's like being very savvy. Like if it would have been like a little dump ball pass, anything, you had to make them burn that last timeout, and they didn't. And when I saw the covers before the play, I said, man, he's impressed, man. And then I saw Jamar running a slant. I'm like, they're doing that a lot. And I think that the Ravens are going to start sitting on those routes because Joe got away with 2 of them where he threw a little inside the tee and he got away with it. And I just was like, I ain't like that. I didn't like that play call. And I would have made them burn that call. Burn that timeout. I just look back at this game and I'm like, the Bengals had a 10-point lead twice. And the defense just got cooked up so bad that I couldn't believe it. Like going into like the third quarter, or midway third quarter, I mean, it was like Lamar 180 yards. It was like a typical, you know what I'm saying? Everything was typical. Even going into half, Burrow was at like 250. Like, out of all the years that I've been watching Bengals football, and I said this to you one time before, I don't remember a time where the Bengals lost to the Ravens and it was like, you know, like how we give them the Tyler Boyd game, we give them the fumble in the jungle, we knocked them out of the playoffs, like all these different things. I kept on saying, I was like, you don't really got a moment like that. This is our moment where I'm like, that was the most demoralizing, I think, Ravens or Bengals loss to the Ravens that I could ever remember, bro. Like that was a killer.
This honestly is one of the worst Bengal regular season losses I've ever watched. Guys, it's emotional. I'm emotional. I don't want to give a hot take, an emotional hot take, but I'm really feeling this. I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to get where they need to be the way this front office operates. I don't think they're going to be able to get where they want to be, which is a championship level with this coaching staff. I'm going to watch every remaining game. I'm going to watch them, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to try to have fun. But if people out there don't think some serious changes need to be made after this regular season, they're living in fantasy land. And I don't want to bring up old memories and everything like this. Guys, what's hurting us right now in this game, our safety play destroyed us. Vonn Bell giving up the long pass to Kohler that led to a touchdown a couple plays later. Geno Stone just not making those plays, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. He's not very physical. I don't know what's going on. Lou Anarumo, his defense has just crumbled. I don't think he has the personnel. That's on the administration. That's on the front office. It's maddening. We are not going to get where we need to be with the current setup. It's not going to happen.
I'm with you. And see, when you look back at these games, don't you feel like the Bengals, I said this before, the Bengals are a bad team. And the reason why I know that the Bengals are a bad team is because they figure out so many different ways to lose. You know what I mean? It's not just one thing. It's like you can't even put your finger on it. You could say, you know, like, man, the defense sucks or whatever. And you go to the point about the personnel, man, and I'm with you. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I thought like Lou had a really good plan in the first half of that game. Like, that was what I wanted to see. Aggressively going after him, stacking up heavy in the front. I thought on the back end, when Dax Hill went out, I said, oh no. Like, their coverage is not good enough. I don't feel like the corners are like, Cam Taylor-Britt makes plays. His coverage is not sticky enough to have that type of front. And you look at that, and then in conjunction with the safety play, they just don't have enough. Every week is something you could pick to go and get at the Bengals. You know what I mean? Like, and I thought like this week, the one thing I was talking to Ace here, and I said, man, the only thing that can stop Joe Burrow in this game is pressure. And he got a little bit of that pressure in the one drive where they were forced to just run it out, like right in when they got a minute and some change. I think everybody's forgetting about that drive. I'm thinking that we're about to go down the field, go kick a field goal, get up out of there. You give up what's the thing that kills the Bengals in the Super Bowl, the AFC Championship game, and then it reared its ugly head again today. When a team knows 1,000% you're passing the football, he's got to, like, we're expecting him to do some shiesty stuff or whatever. It's always the offensive line giving up a big play in a spot like that, and it put them like in a second or third and 17 or something like that. And I mean, after that, you had to concede and say, all right, guys, we'll go to overtime. And right then I hated it. You know what I mean? So
that was
it's just something every game.
When it was 38-38, we got the ball with a minute 40 left. I thought we were going to come down.
Three timeouts.
I thought it was going to be 41-38, but you're right. I think they gave up the 7-yard sack. Their star came through. With a big play.
Here's the thing on that. You've got 3 timeouts. I don't care if you know, everybody thinks you're going to – this is the time. Everybody thinks Joe Burrow's passing. You got 3 timeouts. Where's the screen pass or where's the draw? Run a draw for 12 yards right there. You got Evan McPherson. You can take that down to 3 seconds left and try a 70-yard field goal. Like, he's always getting cute with all these plays, but when it comes to 1 minute 44 left – you pass the ball when everybody thinks you're going to pass the ball. Get cute now, because if you get 12 to 15 yards on a draw, that gets it started and gives Money Mac a chance. You give him a chance under that, you never know what happens. Or Jamar breaks another one for a touchdown. It's just when he has the opportunity to make a call, he makes the wrong call.
23 rushes for 70 yards. That's what we had today. And in overtime, we run it 3 straight times. Hey, man, we're going to kick a 50-plus yard field goal. Like Justin said it, man. 50-plus yard field goals, they're not a given.
No.
Make it a 35-yard field goal. Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot of people in here talking about how he iced his own kicker. He didn't ice his own kicker. It's really hard to ice Evan McPherson. But you know who he did ice? He iced our long snapper. That guy's down in his stance for a while. Then he calls his timeout. Then he has to get back in his stance for a while.
It was Ray Cow. The long snapper had nothing to do with it. Ray Cow dropped.
Did you just see where the snap went? Rico had to catch it over here, put it down. Rico's only been holding in the NFL for 5 games, so you got to have a good snap there. You can't put that all on Rico.
Yeah.
I just think that added so much unnecessary pressure on them to even kick or even attempt a 53-yard field goal. Like it didn't have to be like that. He did that. Remember, that was early Zac Taylor in the Packers game. Remember the overtime with Aaron Rodgers, whatever, same thing. And it's like he doesn't really learn from a lot of those small mistakes like that. I like you pointing out, I think that was you, Maan, just now, pointing out like what he should have did like right before the end of regulation and all these different things. It's like the small little details, those things matter, and when Lamar bobbled that snap, I said, oh yeah, we win in this game. And then they run. I was like, okay, make them, and then I saw the second run. I said, oh no, they're about to just settle for a 50-something yard field goal. Like they were not close enough to do that. And I just thought that was wild. Like, I don't know. I don't know whose fault it was. Was it a snap or the hole, whatever? But
Yeah,
I just think that I don't. Somebody told me at the presser. I didn't watch the presser. I was so mad. They said that that Joe Burrow audibled into a run is what somebody.
He did
told
check
me.
once. He did check once, but even so, you saw Tom Brady do it so many times. You saw Peyton Manning do it so many times. We've all sat on here and talked about how amazing Joe Burrow is, and he is. He was that guy today. He was that dude. He had one mistake. Just put the ball in his hands. Let him get 10 yards. Let him spread it out. He knows to throw it away, not to take a sack. Don't make him just run it up the gut. Come on. I mean, that's just that's it.
To me, your offense all day was what? Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Exactly.
Why on the most crucial drive of the game is T. Higgins not on the field? I don't like, even if you wanted to run it, you need to have the threat of T. Higgins being there. Like, I don't care what audibles Joe would have called like on the second two plays because T. Higgins wasn't in the game. So it's like that decision making, and we've seen that, bro. Like, go back to Joe Mixon in the Super Bowl. Why isn't he on the field during that play call?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, to me, Zac has always, and his staff has always kind of lacked a feel for the game and like the moment and the situation and how big things are. Like, that's the thing that he just hasn't learned to grow out of, bro. Like, from my opinion, you talk about like the front office mind, and I hear you, but you know what's able to overcome personnel that's not good? Coaching. Like, you got to have, like, Andy Reid is able to go out there and do whatever he needs to do with Sky Moore or whoever is out there because he's a hell of a coach and he can scheme up something that the defense isn't looking for that's not predictable. When you talk about Spags and what he does on their defense, he's able to do that. Like, to me, if you're going to sacrifice what it is from personnel, then you have to have better coaches. You got to have better coaches on the staff, better decision makers, better play callers, better situational football handlers. Like, you got to have that. And the Bengals just don't have it right now. And it just doesn't make sense. Like, and when things don't make sense, Joe Burrow's having 500 touchdown, five touchdown games, 400 yards. You're scoring 30 points a game. Like, to me, that comes down to the decisions that have been made. And those decisions have caused the Bengals to be 1-4 now. It's real small, bro. It's real small in almost every game where it's a decision made here or there. That is the difference between winning and losing in the NFL. And for them to lose this game, I just don't understand it, bro. Like, you turned this into a shootout. When I was sitting there, like, I'm like, good. Like, you don't want to go touchdown for touchdown with 9. And because of the Bengals, they were able to. Because of this staff and their decision making, they were able to.
Justin, you got a view? You got a take?
Yeah, well, that's a good. I like what you just said there, Ace, about what I was thinking was Zac at the end of the first half took that shot, got the touchdown there at halftime, and I didn't really expect that. I kind of thought they were going to settle for the field goal, but I mean that was a great decision, great play call that they drew up. And my whole thing with this coaching staff right now is consistency and having an identity. Like the Ravens, like I saw a stat today, 38th consecutive game with 100 yards rushing. They have an identity. They are going to run the football. They're going to play smash mouth type of game, both offensively and defensively. They've always got guys on defense that can make plays, and those guys step up in key moments. And that's what Cincinnati's been lacking this year. But then conversely, to just kind of, Zach and the staff just to kind of like, all right, we're going to be aggressive at the end of the first half and try to get a touchdown on the board and not just go into the half and settle for, a closer game or make it interesting. Like they went and took the lead going into the half.
They did.
And then to come to the end of the game and then play conservative on that last drive after the sack and then play conservative after the fumble recovery. Like, I just don't get it. They have no identity in how they want to do things. And until they figure that out, I just don't see this staff taking the next step.
You don't have Andy Dalton. You have Joe Burrow. Why are you playing conservative? Why are you playing conservative?
Every time you play not to lose, you lose.
The Ravens went in at halftime.
Win the game.
The Ravens went in at halftime and made offensive adjustments, and they literally smoked us in the second half. The Bengals didn't counter it. They didn't counter it at all. Guys, man, I don't know. People are going to yell at me for saying it, but, man, number 3 in Atlanta would look good in Cincinnati right now. He would look really good in Cincinnati right now, and I'm telling you,
the crazy thing about it, I don't even look at number 3. I just look at this free agency. When you look at like the things that like have hampered the Bengals, they had a chance to go get like a Calais Campbell. I understand that they had the injuries, but to have like a veteran presence like there up front, they had a chance to go get a Justin Simmons for probably about like $2 million more than Geno Stone. Like, you had a chance to go and like fix some of this stuff, and now we're at this spot. And then Dax Hill, I don't know if y'all saw like what that's looking like, but they're saying that that's pretty much, they think it's a season-ending injury. So, like for me, I look at all of this stuff and I'm just like, man, this team, I think they'll figure out a way to get some wins, and I think they'll figure out still, but it's just too many. It's just like that meme where you're patching up the hole with the water's coming out of the thing. Mm-hmm. And they're just trying to patch up too many holes on the fly. And we got a good boost from BJ Hill earlier today, and we got a boost from Miles Murphy. You saw him, but a couple of them plays, man. And Sam Hubbard too. They got to get Lamar down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Murphy's knee is like 100%, but they all had opportunities. Even early in this game, they all had opportunities to make bigger plays. And I just look at this defense. If Trey Hendrickson isn't going to be like a dominant force, he had pretty good pressures throughout the game, but if he isn't going to be a dominant force, they don't really have like the ingredients to go, toe to toe with a lot of division opponents, on defense. Offensive wise, I think, like, I know that they had a lot of success. I think they get in third down too much. I thought early on in the first drive, Ravens had all those third downs, and I was like, okay. What I was scared of is them getting first downs and then being able to have a full playbook. After they weathered the storm off the first drive, then they got to stop. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to get too many third and long and distance. And I thought early on they did, but like Maan said, they countered, they came back, and they said, okay, you want to sell out to the run? We're going to make you cover on the back end. And the guys in the back end, they failed them. Like, they failed them all game. There were always a second there too late. Up front, they were always the same. I didn't care about sacks. We did a whole show. I was like, I don't care if they get one sack. It's all about containing him, making sure that you do. They dropped out of they showed him a bunch of different stuff. I just think that it's a personnel issue. I thought Lou, a lot of people are going to be mad at what Lou did. I just don't think that they had the ingredients, like, athletically to challenge him on the perimeters. I don't think that they had enough ingredients on the back end. Like that ball that he just floated over and then Likely's there. Geno Stone is like kind of watching it. How about the Geno Stone blitz where he has a free run at Lamar? Like, you think about these plays, to me, that's not really coaching. Those are guys that are in positions to go make a play. And we could go through like a lot of those drives. They never made a play in a lot of those drives defensively. So then I go back to the free agency thing, and I'm just like, bro, I just don't know if they got the right guys. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I think I'm at. And, the Zac Taylor coaching stuff, I'm not as mad at Lou. Maybe if I go back and watch it.
I'm not mad at Lou.
I'm not mad at Lou. I feel like the players failed him in a lot of spots.
What he needed to do. Like, Lou sent blitzes, Lou sent pressure. I'm not mad at Lou. When I say the coaching decisions, all of mine were on offense. Like defensively, I'm not expecting the defense to do anything. Like, and I think Lou called a good game against Lamar. He tried to put pressure on him. I don't think any of my smoke is for Lou at all. Like, I can't think about any drive where Lou made a mistake. For me, it's just the head coach, Zac Taylor. Like, I don't know what he was thinking on offense. Defensively, I don't know what else Lou could have done. He sent safety blitzes. He sent corner blitzes. He showed blitz and then had guys drop back that confused Lamar. Like, I don't know what else Lou could have done in this game, given, like Zim said, the ingredients that he has.
Yeah, and we even saw we were critical of him. Where's Jordan Battle? Where's John Meta? They were in there. I don't know how much Jordan Battle played, but I saw John Meta in there a lot, and that was one thing we were critical.
I just saw him at the beginning. What, he was in there later in the game?
You have to look at the snap counts, but I mean, it seemed a lot more than before. But
snaps, just a couple. I didn't see him on many.
I just saw him at the beginning. I was like, oh, they're going Meta.
Yeah.
On the first drive when we got cooked, they put Meta in coverage one time. I did see him. I just don't remember him later in the game. So, yeah.
He didn't make any plays, but he was out there.
Yeah, he didn't. You know, and I saw Battle. He had an opportunity. That's what I'm saying. Like, throughout the game, there was a pass where Battle got his hand on the ball. Like, guy catches it. Battle's got his hand. He tries to rip. He doesn't make the play. You know, it's a double edge. You got to tip your hat on one end. And then on the other end, I'm like, man, these guys got to make a play. Like, we were making plays on offense. Like, Jamar Chase taking a bubble screen to the house. That's making a play. You know what I mean? The defense has to be able to match that. Get a stop, get a big sack, especially like, bro, they had him, like Lamar had like a 1st and 15 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
it's obvious.
I know there was the 1st and 20 where they could have had him for either a sack or a short gain, and he got a 12-yard gain.
12-yard run. Yep.
They were 2nd and 8.
So it was like that over and over again. And I don't feel like that's a Lou thing. I feel like the personnel and the guys that are there, because you say, well, let's interchange. Today, I thought he left no stone unturned. I thought he played everybody that he could possibly play. I didn't want to see Jalen Davis, but we saw Turner. I don't know if I saw Newton. I think I saw everybody that we've been saying we want them to play.
Hubbard needs to make that sack on the likely touchdown. He's got to tackle him.
Yeah.
He's got to get him down. It would have been a field goal. We would want to. I just want to say one thing, though. The coaching staff for the Ravens, I got to give them a little bit of a shout out. They obviously saw something to attack this team, our safety play. I don't want to keep on going back. We took a 10-point lead. We come out, opening kickoff second half. We come down 10-point lead. I'm like, hey, man, 6 minutes left on the clock, 7 minutes left on the clock. This is our game. I think 3 plays, they get down, they score a touchdown. Vonn Bell got beat by Kolar for like 48 yards.
We had 3 separate 10-point leads.
You know what it was, Maan?
What's that?
They watched the Commanders game and they saw that we couldn't stop the up-tempo offense, and they ran the same thing. Like, I was wondering, like, when is somebody going to look at it and be like, let me just run the up-tempo offense? And as soon as they started doing that, we don't have an answer for it.
So getting a big lead hurt us.
I've never had a lead worried in a game.
I wasn't worried. When Jamar scored a touchdown, I said, all right, bet. I bet you the defense make a stop here. And when he didn't, when the defense didn't, I said, oh, yeah, we got to score nothing but touchdowns here on out. And then that one throw, that slant, you know, like this isn't on the offense. I do question the play calling at that spot, though, because with them having one timeout left, I'm getting them to burn it. Like, I'm not doing a high technical throw in a spot like that. I'm throwing like a little screen, a little like the little flat. I would have run back to the play that they ran for Jamar Chase in motion, running around like a jet motion, come around, have him out in the flat. If he gets a couple yards or not, who cares? If he makes a play, you get a touchdown, whatever. Simple plays. To throw a slant in that spot, that's a tough throw. I know he was on fire, but I'm not throwing that right there. Like, I said that before the play. I'm not operating in hindsight. That's a tough throw with a lead like that, and you're in field goal position.
Yeah, and there's a way to do it, and you've seen it before. It's aggressive play calling, not requiring aggressive throws. You call a play that gives him an easy pass. He catches it, stays in bounds. Maybe he gets a first down, but like you said, it keeps the clock moving. But when Zach has a chance to do it, he goes aggressive play, aggressive throw, high risk throw, and that's what happens. And then he gets in his head and goes to overtime and says, well, I went too aggressive. Now I'm going to go super conservative. All he had to do was spread them out. You run the ball 3 times, I don't care. Spread them out, run out a shotgun so they don't know necessarily that you're running. Those linebackers have to stay a little eye disciplined, and you get 3 or 4 yards, and now maybe that kick is closer. It wasn't it's just Zac. Every time he gets to make the choice, he makes the wrong choice.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. This one really hurts. It hurts, and I was really fired up all week for this game. I liked our chances. I thought that we're the desperate team, 0-2 at home. We're not going to lose again. We had every opportunity to win this game. I salute the Ravens. Lamar played a phenomenal game. I even said it. Stop the run. Make him beat us with his arm. He did. He beat us with his arm. He's phenomenal. Salute. I throw the receipts at me. It is what it is. But you know what? I understand. I think we do have some personnel issues with this team. I think our defensive tackles, the starters are good. The backups are just, I think the role spot players, I think there's a drop off at other spots when our starters have to leave. But I just hate the way how they made these adjustments. Ace used that at the up tempo, and we were just paralyzed. We didn't know what to do. This is a veteran coaching staff. We have to be able to pivot. Like, hey guys, let's do this, let's do that. It didn't happen. It didn't happen in the second half.
Yeah, bro. They didn't. I mean, that's tough pill to swallow, man. 1-4. I just don't. I mean, like,
that's the kicker.
I can't even LOL the Browns.
When the Browns get cooked, you had, bro. Do you know had the Bengals won this game? And we talked before the game, Ace. I thought that everybody was sleeping on the Bengals offense, and I think that was proven right. Like, their offense is no joke. Like, I don't know another team. Like, I thought they could have went to Yoshi more. I don't know another team that has that level of firepower as the Bengals. And it's sick that we're 1-4. Like, nobody has that level. Our 1 through 4 wide receivers are really damn good. And it's sick that you're at 1-4 with probably the best offense or top 3 offense in the National Football League. Like, that world doesn't even really exist. Like, all you got to really do is have like a middle of the pack defense. But in every single one of these games, they figured out one way to lose, whether it was somebody running the football on you or whether it was you having a late turnover with the fumble in the Chiefs game. I thought that Burrow pick was a killer, though. That hurt you again. But it's hard for me to even look at that for a guy that just threw 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. You know how crazy that is? He threw 80%. His adjusted completion percentage was like 86% in this game. That's almost like a perfect game. But he did say it over and over again. I almost have to play a perfect game. And he damn sure did have to almost play a perfect game. And he didn't. And when you don't play a perfect game with a bad defense, this is what it looks like. You know what I mean? And I thought a lot of the – oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying his body language towards the end of that game was just, he knew he didn't have faith in the defense. And
bro, he didn't have faith.
I didn't have faith.
He didn't have faith in the defense coming into the game. Why do you think he said I have to play perfect?
Yeah, I know.
He knows.
I thought that was a challenge. I thought that was a challenge to the defense. And early in this game, I thought that's as best as you're going to get. Like, what did they have, 14? Like, I just thought I was like, okay. Like, the Bengals got a 3-point lead and the ball. You're not going to get a better situation than that playing the Ravens unless, like, something terribly goes wrong on their end. And it didn't. All they did was punt, like, 2 times, I think, so they got 2 stops. And to me, that's all I really wanted from the defense. The second half, they said, we're going to test those corners. We're going back and looking at this film. And those corners, that coverage is not sticky enough for y'all to be sending that much pressure. And they killed them over and over again. I thought that the coverage sliding over, they adjusted to Zay. But I thought from the very beginning of the game, I didn't like that. The plan that I was saying, it was never just let Lamar throw. It was take away and eliminate. Like, I wanted CTB on Bateman, and I thought that was a more favorable matchup. They had CTB on Zay Flowers early on, and that proved to be a bad matchup. And then by the time that they adjusted, bro already had like 70 yards or something like that. And in my mind, I'm like, the double coverage has to go to Zay Flowers. The single coverage would have gone to Bateman. And Bateman had some stuff early on, but you live with that. And so when you're playing a good team, you got to give up something. You can't, like in this game, you're not going to get sacks, right? Because you're playing contain. You want to take away the run, you got to give up some passing. I knew he was going to throw for like 250 something. I didn't know he was going to throw for, what did he end up with, like 320? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just gave up way too much in some key spots. Geno Stone said this before the game. He said you can't stop him from doing anything, but you could try to limit what he's doing. And limiting someone is very different, and it's also respecting your opponent. Like, I know that I'm smart enough to know, and we talked about this before the game, I know that he's capable of throwing the football. Can he do it consistently for 4 quarters? I thought he had some wobbly ones in there. I thought he had some misfires in there. And if your defense could have capitalized on some of those long and distance ones and got them off the field later in the game, it would have been okay. But they never ever strapped up tight enough to even let some of those errant throws even get off. He had a couple overthrows like in that thing, whereas I'm looking at Burrow, he had a couple misfires here and there, but they weren't like the Lamar ones. I thought Lamar almost threw like 3 picks at one point.
Yeah, there was some bad deflections.
There was one of them was a deflection. He had that one early. Maybe he tried to throw the out route to, I don't know who that was, like Kohler or somebody like that. And then Dax Hill, like, I thought that was a pick. I thought it was a pick 6. Because if you watch the replay on it,
that was early. That was early, wasn't that early?
Dax breaks on the ball so fast that by the time he get there, I'm like, why is he diving? I'm thinking, like, by the time the camera angle swung around, I'm like, oh, that's a pick. And he barely got on. And I'm like, golly. And so that's what makes me question, like, the actual players. I'm like, there's at least 10 plays that I can outline. And I'm like, bro, I think they should be they're in a good position to make a play, and they just didn't make the play.
Yeah, it looks like we got some super chats, Eric, if you want to read those ones off.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for the super chats. Ty does kind of sum this up. Our offense played great. Our defense didn't play well, but they did enough for us to win today. We recovered the fumble, but Taylor called the most basic, predictable run plays to lose the game. That sums it up there. I mean, you got to have some little bit of creativity to those run plays. If you're going to run, don't let them know you're going to run.
How are we going to talk about it? Zac Taylor has to be creative, man. Like, they got to I'm not saying to remove him as the head coach, but you got to instill somebody in there that has some sort of creativity, someone that's not predictable. Like, that's Bob Bratkowski levels of predictability from what I saw on those 3 play calls that I saw tonight. Like, bro, 3 tight ends, Jamar Chase, and I can't get over that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to keep talking about it or bringing it up, but we got to bring in somebody.
It's a good segue to the next one. Have we seen enough, Matt Nation, thank you. Have we seen enough of Taylor to let him go? Having Higgins, Chase, and Burrow all at prime and on contract, wasting so much potential. We know that they're not going to let him go, but are you guys done with him?
That's not going to happen.
He's not going anywhere, but I just want to harp on something that Matt mentioned. What a shame. Jamar Chase is one of the best players in the NFL. Joe Burrow is one of the best players in the NFL. T. Higgins is one of the best players in the NFL. What a shame being 1-4 with them. It just, man, these guys are phenomenal players. And for us to be 1-4 with them, it's unacceptable, guys. I know we've all talked about the reasons. 1-4 is 1-4, and we've got to try to fix it. I don't know what the answer is, man, but I can tell you something. There is an answer out there, and the smart people that run that organization got to find it.
I don't have an answer. I feel like and then you think about how the offense has gone 3 straight for an offensive coach, 3 straight games with 30 plus. You know, the decisions of Zach in that game, they're not good. I feel like his feel for the game is bad, but it's hard to, I don't know. It's hard to just say fire Zach or get Zach up out of there when you're scoring 30 something points on offense. You know what I mean? Like it's a tough sell. And everybody in our division, with the exception of the Browns, they give their coaches a lot of leeway, and I just don't see it.
The Bengals are 4-10 in the AFC North the last 2 years, if you count this game.
It's crazy, bro, because they shouldn't have lost this game. Like I would understand. I would
that
I
in the
would feel
4th and
even
16
more like that if it's like we just went out there and the Ravens just did us 41-17, but like we should have won this game. I don't understand it. Like you guys are saying, I don't know what the answer really is in terms of what needs to change, what needs to be done. I mean, people are talking about trading for Max Crosby. Does that do anything? Like, I don't know. I mean, of course he's a nice player, but I don't know. It's up to this staff to really answer those questions.
Not at the losing. Had they won, then I think the front office would have said, okay, we were in the driver's seat of this. Like, had they won, that would have been a lot of different. Like, we've been talking about Burrow as the leading candidate for MVP after coming off a 400-yard, 5-touchdown performance.
He's leading the NFL in touchdowns right now.
All right, he got to be up there. He got to be up there in yards, completion percentage, every category you can name.
It's at 72.3% after today.
He's think about this too. Burrow is the all-time leading completion percentage holder in the National Football League in the history of football. And today he throws over that. And in my mind, had the Bengals won, it would have been easier to sell to the front office like, hey, look, this is a move that could get us over the top. We need more pressure. But now that you're 1-4, that's a hard sell. You had to get to 4-4 and be right at the deadline, because the deadline comes before, I think, week 8 this year. You had to get right at the deadline and then go to that point and then say, this is where we're at. But the front office isn't going to make a move or spend $1 for a team that's not even in a playoff picture. We're currently probably like third, like the number 3 pick in the NFL draft. They're not going to go get somebody in free agency.
Could there be? I know this has been talked about. You talked about it. You think if they keep on losing, there might be a fire sale?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. I don't think they had that many assets.
When you say fire sale, are you saying like trading Trey Hendrickson, T. Higgins, and
trading some star players for draft picks?
T will be the one. If they lose another game, easily, that's your number one asset. I don't think anybody wants any of these other guys, though. That's the crazy thing. Like, there's nobody on defense anybody's really trading for. You know what I mean? And then on offense, you got so much young talent because we kept all the draft picks, so you wouldn't trade away that. The only person on defense that will be maybe available in that realm is Trey Hendrickson. But because of his age, I don't even know what you would get for him at that point. I think the number one asset that you have is T. Higgins. And to me, I don't know if they're giving enough for him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, I would tag and trade after the season, let him play a full season, tag and trade, and get the most out of him for the whole year. Like, I don't care if the Bengals win or not. I'm spiteful like that. I'm not trying to let nobody be better. Let him go to anybody and let him ball out right there. I would do it on my own terms, like after the season. That's what I would do, attack and trade. But if you're, I never thought they'd be like potentially 1-5 either. So if you have that, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
So the trade deadline is November 5th. So we've got 4 more games till then. So we're potentially, you have the opportunity to go rattle off 4 wins. But who knows where that puts you? We should be right back in the mix, but we're running away with this, and here we are. We do have quite a few super chats here, so let's throw some of them up. A lot of them are stuff we've already talked about, but this was up there. Got 2 Hall of Fame coaches in our division, and then currently have one of the worst play callers and game managers. Play calling, I didn't hate play calling all game, but game managing I did, because you called the right plays all game, and then you didn't call them when it mattered. You just kind of cowered.
He's bad at situational. I think situational football, he's bad at it. A lot of people are bashing us. A couple people have, because we scored so many points and we're bashing the offense. We're not bashing the offense. We're bashing certain play calls at key moments. I'm sorry, guys. Like Justin said, what a flip. So aggressive at the end of the first half. and then to flip it in overtime and before overtime and go ultra conservative. Come on, man.
That's the game manager point of it. You have to understand that in the first half, the defense was not playing bad. We had a safety. We forced them to punt. We had the ability to go double up. But then you get to the second half, and our defense currently is getting cooked. Zac has to right then acknowledge that my game management has to change. Burrow needs to go out there and take this game over and score on every play. And he gets this conservativeness that jumps up in his head and thinks that he can get cute and run it out. Ace, Zim, you have any comments on that, or should we go to the next one?
We can go to the next one for me, man.
All right.
Go to the next one.
How about
This is a crazy. This is a shocking. Like I said, I don't remember in my entire life watching the Bengals football. You got the memorable plays.
That's like Terrell Austin numbers, bro. Like
the defense is so bad, and I just don't remember like all this time. It's Tyler Boyd on knocking them out the playoffs. It's fumble in the jungle. It's all these different things. I just don't even. It's AJ Green is the Raven killer and all these different things like that. I don't know. I've never seen this before. This is insane. And I thought that the Bengals and Lamar tried to give him the game. Like when he fumbled a snap, I'm like, okay. I'm thinking like, bro, Pratt had a chance to go pick that joint up and go run it back. And then somebody made a game-saving tackle right there because there was only 3 Bengals right there. And I was like, whoa. Immediately I'm thinking like, oh, they need to get a scooping score because I just don't trust them. I didn't trust that kick. I'm a Bengals fan, and I know that. Like, coming into this game, somebody was giving me a stat. It was like, well, Justin Tucker, he's been bad from 50+. I'm like, I don't care. He will hit that joint against it. Did y'all see how tough that kick was?
Yeah.
He kicked that with like a screwball on it. Like the wind was blowing against him. The ball hooked and went right down the middle. Like, when he first kicked it, I said, bro, he put his whole leg into that. And when it started off to the left, I was like, bro, the way that ball is turning went right down the middle. And I was like, that's exactly what I've been talking about. Like, I'm more scared of Justin Tucker than anybody on that team, bro. And it's still like that. Boswell's the same way. Them dudes do not miss against the Bengals ever.
Zim, we when we recovered the fumble from Lamar, everybody at my house is like, hey, we need at least 15, 20 yards. Because I'm sorry, I guess we're spoiled now the way kickers are. The 53-yard kicks are not a sure thing. I don't know, man. I'm beyond frustrated. It's just, I'm stunned. I can't believe we lost the freaking game. I really can't. 3 10-point leads. I got so many thoughts. I'm jealous. Let me tell you something. I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't stand them. But their coach goes in with less talent and finds a way to win. He took them to the playoffs 2 years ago with probably the worst roster in the history of the NFL. He got them. That was Ben's last year. They were terrible. He got them to the playoffs. And I'm telling you, man, coaching does matter. I don't want Zac Taylor fired. I appreciate Zac Taylor. He, good culture builder, good communicator. I love Zac. But, man, you need
killer instinct.
Yeah, listen, man, leadership matters. I don't care what line of work you're in. He's a great leader, but Mike Tomlin has that it factor, that X's and O's. His guys will run to a freaking wall for him, and he's never had a losing season in the NFL. I don't know.
Just to get through the super chats here, does anybody think on Herman super chat, back-to-back year badge defenses, Lou's got to go? I know there's a lot of talk in our group chat. Does anybody think Lou's? I don't think he goes this year, but is this his last year in Cincinnati based on this?
If they keep putting up stinkers like this, 500 yards, they can't stop anybody. He gotta get out of there.
There's no way you could keep him around like that.
There's way more of a chance of Lou going than Zac. Like, I think there's like a 1% chance Zac is gone. I think with Lou right now, I think it's like 50-50, but if it keeps going like this, it's going to move up to like 70%.
I would have to go see the scores on like any 1-4 football team in the history of football. I've never seen anything like this. This team figures out every single way to lose, man. And so that's why it's hard for me to just be like, Is it Lou? I mean, because week one, I thought the offense was so terrible. The Patriots suck, but he didn't let Brissett throw for like 120. Defense gets 6 stops out of 10. It's not a bad performance. The offense was so
bad. Is that the Patriots offense is that bad? Or is it the Bengals that good?
I just thought that the Bengals, the 3 and outs from the Bengals in that game, though, they just gave the Patriots like a million opportunities to go and cook them. And I just don't think the Bengals defense is good enough. My expectation levels are like, they gave them 10 possessions. They stopped them on 6. Like, that's kind of what I expect. And then they go to the next one. And I thought that they did really good. They gave Pat Mahomes his worst game as an NFL quarterback. And then the Bengals lose on a 4th and 16. That was the worst game he's ever had as an NFL quarterback. Then he comes back the next week and gets totally destroyed and out-coached against the Commanders. So that was the worst, probably the Lou Anarumo's 2 worst games ever is the Commanders game and then the Mike White game, with 2 games very similar. Those are terrible games. Then he comes back, the Panthers, they give up some stuff late, but they make some big stops here and there. And then you go to today, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's like, Lou, but I think he'll be the fall guy, though, because you can't give up all that. You can't give up that many points and then sell it to a fan base that's the guy. I believe that he has the scheme and the ideas to do it. And I trust that, but the proof is in the pudding and the results are the results. So if a team is scoring like that, it's just no way to really justify it.
Yeah, I think you said it earlier. I think it's a personnel issue too. I love Lou. I get it. It could easily happen at the end of the season. The last 2 years of the Bengals have been giving up 160 plus yards a game rushing. That's not sustainable. They give up 175 today. I know 50 on the last run. But still, you can't give up that many rush yards. It's tough. Your offense, like Joe says, has to be perfect. Has to be perfect. Look what happened in the Commander game. He played lights out. He played lights out today. It's just going to be shootouts. I mean, this is what happened with Boomer early in his career before they went to the Super Bowl. He was in a shootout every week because they didn't have the defense.
I kind of expected that, like, when you made the decision to pay Joe Burrow and make the commitment on offense and let guys like Jesse Bates, and like, I was cool with it being this way. You just can't have situations where you're making mistakes like that at the game. If you're all in on offense, you got to be all in. Like, there's a lot of teams that they're really good offensively, not so good defensively. They're going for it on 4th down. They're taking more risk because they know that they can't trust their defense because you don't have the investment set up over there. Like, it's Trey Hendrickson, and that's really it, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's really just Trey Hendrickson over there by itself. So, I mean, it is what it is. We got another super chat here. He says, no BS. Love what y'all doing. Love seeing brothers talk ball. Y'all offense cooked today. Appreciate that. Another one here from – go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was another one.
Yeah, I got 2 more. So this one, Matt Nation trading Higgins for some pocket change, and that locker room is already content with playing on losing mentalities besides our star players. Got another one here from Ty Kendall. Burrow is 3rd in yards, 3rd in completion percentage, and number 1 in touchdowns, and number 1 in QBR.
For wasting
and 1 in 4.
He deserves wasting an MVP year. Right?
I don't know if that's ever happened in the history of football, bro. Like, that's insane. I thought that both quarterbacks played extremely well today. I don't have this person outplayed that. I thought that Burrow made a big mistake. Lamar made a big mistake. I really feel like if you got on purple glasses, you're going to say, yeah, bro, outplayed him. I'm going to go look at the box score and say, yeah, Burrow put 400 yards on you after y'all told us that, the only reason why he did that before was against Walmart workers. Were those Walmart workers today?
I think Jake's about to jump on, guys. When he jumps on, I'm going to take off. I've been on about 50 minutes. Eric, do you see him?
No, he's not here yet. Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys, I got to take off. Appreciate you all. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, sounds good. Who they?
All right, guys. See you.
That's crazy, bro. Like, you can't put it on Joe. You can't put it on Jamar. You can't really put it on Chase Brown.
I hated that throw.
You can't put it on Orlando Brown.
The one thing is, with a minute and some change, I hate the fact it's 2 different things that do stand out to me, and this is not an indictment on the offense. but it does bother the hell out of me for Joe to be Joe. Is the pick that he threw. You can't throw that inside like that. I can't, like, it reminds me of the Chiefs fumble, the scoop and score. Like, you just can't do that in that spot. You're in the red zone. Like, you can't do that. Then the other one is a minute and some change. I thought the protection was like bad on there, but he's got to throw the ball away and do whatever you can to get rid of the ball, because now we're forced to now punt the ball, or like you're forced to go safe. Because if you do something crazy on third and 17, you can't run the risk of throwing a pick then. So it's like, you cannot do that. You can't do that. So it's just, to me, that's not what lost us the game, but it certainly didn't help us. And those are the things that stand out to me. But the defense put them in those spots, because every time Burrow and them boys gave them something, the defense was like, here, let's give it right back to them. Like, so it's just terrible.
What's up, Jake?
Has Lou Anarumo been fired yet? I don't know. I haven't read anything on Twitter, or I'm sorry, I got a sick son and I had to go to the grocery store, get prepared for this storm coming. I apologize. But has Lou been fired?
The storm coming, or the
I thought maybe I would jump on and there'd be breaking news that Lou Anarumo has been fired. Hopefully. No,
the storm is upon us. The storm is upon us. The Bengals are 1-4, and Joe Burrow's playing like an MVP. We are in the eye of a hurricane. What the heck is going on?
It's crazy, right, guys? I mean, Joe Burrow, you have to feel for Joe Burrow. He outduels all of these other quarterbacks. He is the best quarterback in the NFL. He outdueled Patrick Mahomes 3 weeks ago. He outduels Lamar Jackson today. He has never lost to Josh Allen. The guy, all he does is outduel all of these guys that are talked about all the time. And that poor guy has to score 50 points a game because this defense is historically bad. This is the worst Bengals defense I have seen in a very long time. And I'm talking about, guys, I'm talking about like when we had 4 guys playing on the defensive line that the Bengals basically took off the street 5 years ago. This defense is absolute. It's just awful. It's awful. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It's terrible. And I agree, Zim. I mean, the interception by Burrow was not good. But, Zim, he shouldn't be in that situation. He shouldn't even be in that situation. We shouldn't be talking about that. The guy throws for 5 touchdowns and 400 yards, and all people are going to dwell on is this interception. Joe Burrow, I just feel bad for him. It's terrible. It's terrible. And people have got to be held accountable now. Lou Anarumo has got to be held accountable. This defense has got to be held accountable. That is now 3 games that the Bengals have scored 25 points or more and have lost this year. That is awful. Awful. I just don't even know what else to say. It's terrible.
I just saw a ridiculous stat, and Maan's gone, that his head will explode on this. In the third quarter, the Bengals had the ball for 12 minutes, 47 seconds.
They did.
And the Ravens only had it for 2 minutes and 13 seconds. And somehow we still lost that game.
Bro. The only thing I'll say, Jake, is what are your thoughts on having Joe Burrow with a 400-yard, 5-touchdown game? He's cooking, and you make the decision to hand the ball off, or you don't give him a chance before it goes into overtime to try to make a play to get in the field goal range at that point to try to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, that kind of thing makes you sick to your stomach. You're trying not to lose the football game instead of going out and trying to win it. Joe Burrow is, again, the best quarterback in the NFL. You have 2 of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, and you hand the ball off 3 times up the middle. It's what we're used to, though. I mean, I don't know why anybody would be surprised by it, right? I mean, this is Zac Taylor football, and it's just.
Someone had a nasty tweet. They were like, "This is a Zac Taylor masterclass."
He said what?
Someone said it was a Zac Taylor masterclass. I was like, "That's nasty."
I mean, but that's what we're used to, right? I mean, have you seen anything different from Zac Taylor? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was surprised that we were throwing deep with 12 seconds left right before halftime. And again, that's what you should be doing when you have the best quarterback and the best receiver tandem in the NFL. That's what you should be doing. Instead, we run the football up the middle.
And I feel like 2021, anytime it was third, fourth down, anytime we needed it, we're going to Jamar Chase. I'm not seeing that this year. I don't understand why we're not recognizing who the best players are and why we're not going to them in those moments. That's the part of it I don't understand.
Well, to be fair, we did go to him on the interception.
Yeah, we did.
And I just feel like Zach got shell shocked on that, and I hate that Zach does that. Like, you need to have a short term. You got to just forget about that and go right back to him. But he doesn't. He gets shell shocked.
That is true. He did go to Chase on that one, and then Humphrey. That's so crazy, bro.
It's crazy, and you know what's even crazier is and this is, I think, the hardest part about the entire thing is the Ravens did not win this football game. The Bengals lost it. The Bengals did everything. Paul Dehner put out a perfect tweet after the game. The Bengals did everything they possibly could to lose this football game in all three phases. In all three phases, although the offense was almost flawless today. I don't even know what to say. I mean, the Bengals lose their starting right tackle, and Joe Burrow is still out there cooking. The guy is just unreal. Joe Burrow is unreal.
I thought Mike Hilton. I can't. That's the thing. It's so hard to put my finger on. Like Sheldon Rankins, we hadn't talked about any of those guys or whatever like that. I don't know if they would have helped us in this game. I did think that BJ Hill got some good pushes in there. I thought Ted Karras was getting demolished by Matt Abuke throughout most of the game. I'd be interested to see that score after the game, but I just thought if you're going to sell out like that hard to the run, and this is the part where I guess, Jake, you didn't hear this part where I was saying I don't think it's on Lou. I just think that the players in the back end, I think we could go to 10, 12 different plays where the Bengals players had a chance to make a play, and they just didn't make the play. And I thought Lou in the first half of the game, he called a pretty good, outside of the first drive, I thought he called a pretty good half. And he did what you had to do. You got to give up something. Remember, Derrick Henry only had 30 yards or something like that going into overtime, and then he gets the big, 60-yard run at the end. Yeah, 41. So you got to give up something. You're a coach. It's if I'm gonna take away the run, I thought that his only plan was make sure that Lamar is pressured, so he has to throw on a run, do all these different things like that. And I thought he did that. He had a bunch of missed throws here and there, but he made the ones that really mattered. But I thought that there were opportunities for our guys to make plays in a lot of those instances, whether it was a sack or something Hubbard could have got, whether it was Geno Stone with a free rush, whether it was, you know what I'm saying? It was all these different things that you could outline. And I don't feel like that was coaching. I feel like they were in a good spot. I was very impressed with them in the read option today. I thought that Trey Hendrickson played contained pretty well on a lot of that stuff. Miles Murphy, did what he did on a bunch of those ones. I thought that they played it really well because when I watched the Cowboys play, I thought Micah Parsons played the read option horribly. Yeah. And then we played the read option when we played Jaden Daniels really bad. I thought today they said, nope, one guy right here, you run after Lamar no matter what. You have dive. So if Derrick Henry goes that way, you're going to do that, and then we're going to have a linebacker meet him right there. And I thought they did that the whole game. But when you do that and you're allocating an extra resource to the box, then somebody singled up on the back end. And I just felt like I don't know if Dax Hill would have made a bigger, play. I thought for this year he's been our best corner.
Well, I agree with you. I think what you got to look at is, that second touchdown. It's 3rd and 5. The Ravens have the ball right about the 20-yard line, and you sell out on the blitz, and that's great. But Cam Taylor-Britt is supposed to be in man, I'm guessing. I mean, they dropped Sam Hubbard out into the flats. I'm not sure why Sam Hubbard is dropping into the flats, in that moment. and they run a mesh, and the Ravens run a mesh, and Bateman's wide open because, again, and that's play calling. That's not putting your guys in a good situation at that moment. Now, I'm going to agree with you 100%. The tackling on this team today was absolutely atrocious. Sam Hubbard, again, we've talked about Sam quite a bit on our show, but he had 2 sacks that should have been sacks, right? I mean, you got to make those plays in those moments. And the Bengals keep throwing out these guys on the defensive line that they're just not that level caliber of football player. I mean, at one point, Lamar rolls out in the first half, and Myles Murphy has him and then is chasing him, and then actually takes a backward angle on Lamar Jackson. I mean, these guys are just not – they are not that caliber of football player, and you saw it today. I mean, again, Lamar made some great plays. I'm not here trying to bash Lamar. He made some incredible plays today, but the Bengals defense was absolutely atrocious, and somebody has got to be held accountable for that, Zim. That's my point is, if it's not Lou, then who is it? Because this defense has given up 41 points. It's given up 38, right? 38 points, 41 points, 26 points, 24 points. I mean, this defense it's bad. It is really bad. And you could see the frustration in Joe Burrow's face at the end of the game. I can't even imagine going out throwing for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns and walking away with an L. And people could say what they want to about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson fumbled 2 snaps in key situations of the game. The Bengals recovered 1, should have won the game off of it, and everybody would be talking about how Lamar Jackson choked again, which he did. The Bengals just didn't take advantage of it. He fumbles a snap down inside the 10-yard line and is stumbling around all this stuff, and Sam Hubbard, just makes an atrocious play. The Bengals lost this football game. They lost it. This game was not won by the better team today. It just wasn't.
Oh, we got, and we're over an hour here. We've got 6,733 people in here. Thank you. Thank you for joining our therapy session. If you can give us a like over on YouTube, like, subscribe, and follow, we really appreciate it. We're here for you. Win, lose, or draw, it sucks, but we're here. We're here to talk this through. We do have one final super chat. Get your guys' comments on this. KP from KC asked if Vonn Bell is a starter anymore. And I got thoughts on that too, because we were told that bringing Vonn Bell and Geno Stone in there was going to fix the communication. Guys were going to be where they're supposed to be. And all we've seen is guys not being in the spots to make the plays. Is it time to see Jordan Battle, Tyson Anderson, Dejon Anthony? Is it time to see safeties being switched up? Ace, I'll go to you first. What do you think?
Yeah, you got to do something new, man. I mean, you just gave up 500 yards today. You got to – and I feel like they kind of did that too, right? Like, we saw them cut Zach Carter. They threw in Chris Jenkins. I saw Myles Murphy a lot, which I didn't expect him to play as much as he did. We saw Jordan Battle get in at some point, right? So I think that you continue to kind of tweak this thing and figure out what it is. So, whether that's bringing Jordan Battle in as a starter, I think you got to do something.
Yeah, I think Jordan Battle, there's got to be an answer. I don't really have a long-winded answer, I guess, for that one. I don't know if Jake had any thoughts on that. I saw Battle make a couple plays.
I just think the athleticism. I mean, again, when you're playing a team like this, you have to have athleticism on the field. And I love Vonn Bell, and Vonn Bell's been incredible for this organization. But there were a couple times in coverage today where if Lamar Jackson made a great throw or made even an average throw, Vonn Bell was beat. Fortunately for us, Lamar doesn't always make those throws. So there were opportunities for the Ravens to make plays. And on the back end of this defense, I want to say something real quick because I obviously didn't see earlier on, but Did we talk about the hold? Have we heard from Ray Cal or has anybody about what happened there and the hold and the kick?
I mean, if we haven't,
I
don't
didn't
think
watch
anybody's
none
watched,
of that stuff.
I
I didn't watch nothing post game.
the snap was over here. He gets it down. It's sideways. He gets it fixed. But I mean, the snap was over here.
But the thing
It's a
is, when
combination.
he went to put it down, the ball was like down. So then he had to like move it. I don't know, bro. Like you shouldn't even put your team in that situation.
No,
Yeah.
And
no,
then, like, I
because-
feel like people said, "Why are you icing your own kicker, bro?"
Yeah, and
That's insane.
all you here's what you're supposed to do: get 1 first down, buy him 10 yards, then you run on first and second. Now you have a 40-yard field goal. You kick it on third. If that happens, he knees it. Then you do it over again on 4th down. That's situational coaching to end the game. You don't put it to 4th down where you can't take a knee and try again.
Well, and you guys are right. The reason why I'm asking is because I want to know why Zac Taylor took the timeout. I want to know why Zac Taylor iced his own kicker. And again, I understand where you guys are coming from. I said it earlier. We should never even been in the situation. We shouldn't have been in the situation of Joe Burrow.
We shouldn't even been out.
Yeah, we shouldn't have been in the situation with Joe Burrow having to throw the ball with 3
minutes left to go in this game. That's usually a death sentence.
But you've still got. I mean, the special teams have still got to make that play. Is what my point is. Is Joe Burrow shouldn't even been in the situation of having to throw the ball with 3 minutes left because he completely outdueled the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, he destroyed them. He destroyed them, and
Right.
But the special teams was in that situation. They have got to make that play,
Right.
and I was just curious on why. Coach Taylor, I don't know if he said anything about why he called a timeout there, but that's absolutely atrocious.
No idea, but
Right.
I did hear from the quotes that I'm seeing. Now, quotes are different than actually watching the press conference, so I'll go back and watch them.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't sound like he was really accountable himself. He seemed like he was putting it on Evan McPherson, like, I'm going to trust my kicker anytime.
Zac Taylor.
He said that Joe was the one
Yeah.
that switched it to the audible, to the run. Like, it didn't sound like he was being accountable himself. From the quotes I'm seeing. Now, maybe people didn't put the other quotes out there, but from the quotes that I'm seeing on Twitter right now, they don't sound like, hey, I'm being accountable, like some of this was on me.
Yeah, that's very bad because you always say a great leader gives all the credit and takes all the blame. And the quotes that are out there, Jamar said I ran a bad route. Joe said I made a bad throw. Evan said I got to make that kick. And Zach said Joe checked to that run. You shouldn't give him the option to check to that run. You're the head coach. There's no checks. If you're going to do this, run that ball. One more from KP from KC.
After that, did Joe check into those runs, or were those actually called by Zach? I don't know, bro.
Man. Yeah, I'd say we got a defensive coordinator out there on TV right now. Bring him in for the rest of the season.
Belichick for a session is crazy.
Yeah. Final thoughts. We're at an hour and 15. Let's go. Final thoughts. Jake, give us a minute. Final thoughts here. We'll go around the table.
Yeah, I mean, it's where do the Bengals go from here? I mean, this is a football team's, this offense right now is top 5 offense in the NFL. It's not even close. You got the best quarterback in the NFL. He's playing at an MVP level right now. There's nobody even close to him right now, as far as I'm concerned. You have these 2 incredible wide receivers. You just have this explosive offense, and you have a defense that is below average. I don't know where the Bengals go from here, to be honest with you guys. 1-4, they're not done yet, but she's a humming. She's a humming right now, and if they don't figure out a way to reel off in the next couple games, this season could unravel on Zac Taylor very quickly. This locker room has got to be frustrated. I know there's great leaders in there, but I don't know. I don't know where they go from here, but I feel bad for Joe Burrow. That's my final thought. Is I feel bad for Joe Burrow.
Ace?
Man, we 1-4, bro. I mean, we got to keep pushing. I'm not giving up on this team, but There literally is zero room for error from here on out. Like, you can't drop any games to a team that you shouldn't lose to. Like, you've got to be like laser focused right now just to try to make the playoffs. So I'm not talking any like Joe Burrow just said it himself. We're not a championship contender right now. Like, we're not playing that type of ball right now.
Agreed.
So for me, we're not the Browns, but the record, like, we're like cousins with them right now, just based off of the record. So I don't want to be like even comparable or related to them. We need to get on this high horse and get things going. I saw a lot of good things from the offense. Keep that momentum going and just make better decisions in the clutch, bro. Like, that's all I ask for. Decisions win ball games. They should have won this game. But something's got to give, bro. They got to keep pushing and doing what they're doing right now because the offense is playing lights out. They just got to make some tweaks here or there, but we'll see what they're made of come these next 4 weeks. We'll see.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zim.
I was just gonna say, I appreciate everybody coming to the, this post game show, whatever. Especially the ops 7,000. You're helping us out a lot, so we appreciate your views, and we appreciate the monetary support that you've given us this whole entire time. So thank you very much, ops. We wouldn't be who we are without you. So we really do appreciate your views. I do want to say that. I also want to say that it was also told to us that Joe Burrow was never even going to play again. His wrist was cooked. He'll never be the same. And now the conversations are changing. Now they're just like, yeah, well, you guys lost. You lost a 4th and 16 to the Chiefs. And it's cool. At the end of the day, we understand who Joe Burrow is. We understand the offense is. The Bengals front office has some malpractice going on in some different spots, and I'm not getting away from that. I think I don't agree with what you were saying, Jake. I thought the better team won today that deserved the win, and I think that's the Ravens. But I will say that the Bengals gave them many opportunities to do. But those are the elements to me of a bad team, is that they constantly give these teams, like, we should have never even been in that. Like, we were up like 17 on the Chiefs before. We were up 3 different times, 10 points 3 times today. Derrick Henry has 40 yards in 4 quarters of football, and you lose the football game. You got them to punt 3 times and a fumble, in all of this stuff, and a safety. So that's pretty much like 5 turnovers, right? Or that's how I look at it in this game, and you lose. And I just thought that the Bengals made poor decisions here and there. We'll be able to go through it, throughout the season. But I do think it's kind of crazy that the conversations, when I have looked at some of the chats, is that before it was Joe Burrow was going against Walmart workers. Before it was Joe Burrow will never be the same. He's always hurt. Before it was Joe Burrow this and all these different things that they're saying. But now that Joe Burrow just gave you a 400-yard game against your starting defense, no injuries, fully healthy, it's crazy to me that people aren't saying, you know what, good game. You guys had a pretty good plan offensively. There's no other team that has firepower like the Bengals in the National Football League. The only other team that I think is even on the same level of offense would be the Ravens, and then also maybe the Houston Texans or something. Currently, right now, Joe Burrow's playing like at an elite level, and I feel like a lot of people are getting off on the fact that they're barely losing these games and trying to use that as to say that's an indictment on Joe Burrow. And to me, that's not fair, but I understand that from people that have insecurities about their own quarterback. They're going to say that. Whereas the Bengals will be like, yeah, such and such played a good game. Like when we played Stroud last year, he had a good game. Lamar had a good game. But the difference is they're so insecure about everything that they said, and they were so wrong about all these different things that they said. They said that Brandon Stevens was going to hold Jamar Chase. Y'all know that Jamar Chase and T. Higgins barely have even played the Ravens. They never even mentioned that. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins played together. Remember when Joe Burrow hurt his wrist and he was cooking in the first quarter? T. Higgins didn't even play in the game. You'll never get one of them to mention that. The game before then that they had one on that game, they lost by 2 points. T. Higgins and DJ Reader didn't play in that game. Going into the 2023 season, the Bengals had won 4 out of 5 games against the Ravens. So the Ravens are finally starting to get like their lick back. But I just think that it's crazy that the conversations that they were telling us about Joe Burrow and how y'all only did that against Walmart workers and all this other stuff. He throws for 5 touchdowns and they're like, yeah, like he didn't play a good game. And like that's crazy. Like, just let's keep it real. Let's talk real football. And if we're not going to talk real football, then you're a troll that just helped to monetize our channel. And I do appreciate your good. Thank you very much.
And
Well
and
said.
you can't say we got to get out of here, but you can't say that he didn't. You cannot have that argument anymore because they were the number one defense going in, and you just put up 400 on them. My only thought, I'm you guys know I'm a super homer. There's always a chance. I think we can run off 12 wins in a row, but we got to start doing it. And now we're going to need help because Joe Burrow's got an MVP season and you're not winning these games with MVP performance. And it's making people say, well, he's not MVP. He's not winning. We got to get some help, but we got to win. We got to beat the Giants. We got to beat the Browns. Then we got to beat the Eagles. We got to stack these victories against NFL caliber teams. Sunday night, it's the Giants. They're an NFL team. Anything can happen. We got to stack victories. We go out and win on Sunday night. It doesn't matter because we still have all these losses. We got to win. We got to win. We got to keep winning. We got to get some help. And the defense has got to show up for 4 quarters. Give us 1 stop a quarter. I know we wanted 1 stop before this, but now you're going to need 1 stop a quarter, at least 1 stop a half. We got to get it going. Before we get out of here, just to know, 3 of the most of us here are in Florida, and we've got a lot of uncertainty coming up with these storms. We plan to go live on Thursday night with our pregame show for next week, but we may not have power. We may not have internet. Bengals Pulse will try and get out there, try and shift our shows if we have to. But the biggest concern right now for everybody in Florida is to don't take the storm that's coming lightly. Get prepared. The best case scenario, you're sitting at home eating your hurricane snacks with power on and AC. The worst case scenario, you're safe and we don't get to do a show this week. But we'll do our best to get out there. And I think Ace might be in the same boat, being over. Might get hit a little bit harder than us. So again, thanks for everybody coming out. I guess that's all I got.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all I got. That is another edition of the Bengals Pulse. Once again, guys, thank you so much.
Over 7,000.
Like Zim was just saying, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Even you guys that are the ops, we love you. Join us every week. We love having you.
Yes.
You guys are great. We appreciate everybody, especially you Bengal fans. We love you. Hooday to you guys. Hopefully we get this thing turned around. That is another edition of the Bengals Pulse. As always, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. As always, if you like this podcast, make sure you give us that 5-star review. We very much appreciate that. As always, guys, follow Maan on Twitter at @TheFireMaan. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Jake Owens 9. Follow Eric on Twitter at eFlash with 2 H's 88. Of course, follow our guys, Ace and Zim, if you aren't already. On the Wincinnati Pod, at Wincinnati Pod on Twitter. Follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9. And on Instagram, the same without the at Bengals_Pulse9. Sim, I know everybody in here follows you already, but real quick, drop where they can follow you on Twitter if you would for me.
At New Stripe City.
Zim Hooday.
All right.
Just all one word.
Zim Hooday, all one word. All right. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We are here for you. Win, lose, draw, it doesn't matter. The Bengals Pulse is here. The Cincinnati Podcast is here. We are here giving you that Bengals content every week. So make sure you check us out. The best thing going right now in the podcast world, the Cincinnati Podcast Network. He is
7,000 in here.
7,000. He is Eric. He is Ace. He is Zim. I am Jake. Maan joined us earlier. This is the Bengals Pulse. Hooday, Bengal fans. Hopefully we see you on Thursday.